everybody. We are live. This is Ready, Set, Crypto. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Wednesday, the 24th of March. We got Doc and Mav coming to you today. How's it going, everybody? Where are you coming in from? Let us know where you're coming in from today.
And while you're doing it, don't forget to hit the like button, smash that like button. No, we're not going to do the cliches here. But how's everybody doing? Crypto market's a little bit of sell-off, but we're here to have a good time. I think we're looking long-term. We're going to find some opportunities. So let us know where you're from. And yeah, we'll start getting into this. Should be a short session today, but should be a fun one too.
All right, we got Manuel in Romania. We got Australia, Spain, New York City. We got Slovenia, Belgium, Germany, San Francisco Bay, Dublin, Ireland. We have Colorado, France. Bonjour.
Right.
We have Montreal, Canada. Guys, like Mav said, if you're checking in, go ahead and hit the like button just to check in and just give us a thumbs up and say hello. And it's good. Lets other people know that we're on board here and we can increase our, keep doing this kind of thing. So, all right, let's see who else is out there. West Coast is not the best coast. Hey, Coob, what up? We got Canada, Sydney. We have India, West Virginia. And let's see, we have Chicago, Georgia. Outstanding. Nigeria. All right. Well, welcome aboard, everybody. Great to see you out here. We've had a couple of really good months in crypto. A lot of things going on. And Mav is going to get you caught up. Go ahead, Mav, take away the baton.
And away we go. So for those who are just joining us for the first time, or those who've been around the block, know what's going on. We spend these Wednesdays, first off, going through a couple projects that I'm watching, I think are kind of cool, are kind of trending right now. But obviously things are kind of all over the place right now. So what we're looking for is long-term opportunity. We're looking for the big trends. So even if these projects are, let's say, up 30% today, I don't consider that to be a one and done kind of scenario, especially if we can start to identify trends, look for those sorts of opportunities. And hey, even if that project is blowing up today, well, let's look for projects that are like that. So we're going to get into that. But for those who haven't been around our stream before, first off, welcome. But secondly, if you'd like to follow along with me on this, because if you're looking from a phone, it's probably going to be really tiny. Go in the bio below, look for the little finger pointing to the link. It's a free link, free to join community. That's where we post these every week. It's right there for you. Because not only that, I want to, give you guys the opportunity to find some opportunities with me. But it also kind of keeps us honest. So let's talk about some of the projects here that are making a repeat, if we will. Let's look at Polygon or Matic Network as they're rebranding, or Vesper Finance, which for those who have been following us doing these streams for the last month, you'll notice that those were previously mentioned on 217 and I believe, 218. So they're making a comeback, but I think they are doing some really interesting things that warrant them being on today's list. Those are going to be the only two repeat projects. But what's really standing out to me about both of these is, first off, interoperability, but secondly, DeFi. DeFi is super hot right now. DeFi is sort of the catalyst to many other catalysts, if you will. And it's so cool to see crypto finding adoption and just, playing with those money Legos, if you will. So interoperability is a big piece of that, and making sure that there are easy to use DeFi products, big piece of that. So those two projects in particular, I think, are doing really well. And if you guys had followed my, suggestions here about a month ago when I brought these up, well, these have both about doubled from where they were before. So the rankings on these projects here do not change. I just put them statically for the day that we're talking about them. So, where was Vesper? Vesper was 392, and today it is market cap rank 278. So doing pretty well, I would say, especially with the recent sell-off and everything being kind of volatile. But that's old news. Let's get to some of the exciting stuff. And for those who have a keen eye here, you'll see that pretty much the only things left to talk about in terms of the project features and sort of the overall category or genre, if you will, about these remaining 5 projects I want to talk about today. They have to do with NFTs. They have to do with asset tokenization. They have to do with NFTs are non-fungible tokens for those who aren't, hip and jive with the the lingo these days. But NFTs are really hot right now, and they're kind of coming out, between DeFi and NFTs. That's where I'm seeing lots of opportunity right now. So I'm looking for anything that is, in between those two or propping them up, being standout projects in their respective fields. So let's spend some time talking about NFTs and some of the projects that are doing some really interesting things in NFTs. In particular, I want to talk about gaming. Gaming is always been this sort of fringe element of the blockchain crypto space. This idea that, oh yes, you have in-game currency if you're buying a skin in some game, and it doesn't really make sense that you spent money in one game, and then if you want to go to another game, that your money doesn't carry over. I mean, that's just bad economics. So let's solve that by having blockchain be the underlying sort of, if you will, certification layer that tells just the entire industry, the entire gaming ecosystem, hey, you have $5 in V-Bucks or V tokens or whatever, and that you can spend it on many different games. And that just helps the entire ecosystem, the industry grow, because then money's flowing just like it does in, like the App Store, for example. So this helps the indie developers. This helps with just the crazy kind of stuff we've seen, come out of the iOS and App Store or Play Store, or whatever it is. So in particular, this is really interesting. This project called Sand is trying to do something akin to maybe like a Roblox or something like that. It's also kind of similar to Decentraland, if you're familiar with that in the blockchain space, but it's essentially selling some VR in-game, if you call it real estate, but really it's a plot in the game's sphere, if you will. I'm not explaining this very well, but what it does is give you sort of a, I guess, ecosystem or some sort of foundation to build a game out of that game. So we're really getting meta here. But in particular, I want to look at Rev here. Rev is a project, a game that was built out of the Sand ecosystem. And so where the Sand tokens are sort of, providing almost like an Ethereum-like experience where it's the underlying currency that makes everything go round, right? Well, Rev and their tokens are going to be specifically around, it's a racing game that they've built out of the Sand token sandbox, if you will. And the more you play the game, the more tokens that you earn. And because they're NFTs, those are definitively yours. And then you start to see the implications of, hey, my time is worth, not only earning in-game currency in this one game, but if I can then take it and convert it to the larger Sand ecosystem and go play another game and, not have to lose all my progress just because I'm going to a different game, or, carry over some of the currency that I earned in one game and spend it in another. Hey, that just unlocks a whole new sort of world of opportunity, especially when we get into things like VR and AR, which is something that is another project on this list, Over, is trying to pioneer, do something similar to Decentraland in the sense of having VR mandated real estate, sort of this digital real estate ecosystem. It's very out there, if you will, but it's also one of these really compelling, interesting ideas that is very sticky. It's followed the blockchain space for years now. And I think we're getting to the point now where there's a melding of, DeFi and NFTs and gaming and VR and AI and all this stuff. It's coming together in a way that is propping up these really interesting ideas and opportunities. So that's exactly where we're looking for in terms of where is the overall space going, but more importantly, where are the opportunities? where can we find something that is going to be interesting, that is going to push the narrative, that is going to, obviously get an ROI. That's what we're looking for too. But we want to be part of that trend, right? We want to be part of where things are going, how it's evolving. And for me, this is one of the big ones. So I think 2021 NFTs are not by any means over. We're starting to see many more projects in different ways. And yes, we're seeing celebrities and companies and all this stuff. It is a bit silly. The fact that JPEG sold for $69 million, yeah, that's going to raise some eyebrows. But, that is crypto in its essence. It doesn't play by the rules. So, I think that's a celebration of what it stands for and where it's going. So anyways, not to go off too much on a tangent there, but another cool project that is also doing NFTs, doing really well right now, has some good names behind it, is, make sure I pronounce this right, Eternity chain under the ticker ERN. And they're also trying to do something more akin to like a trading card game. So it's really, again, just trying to build off of this, what you own is yours, and NFTs and gaming and all that. So very cool stuff going on here, guys. That's really all the projects I wanted to dig in today, but hopefully you kind of got the big picture here, that gaming and NFTs and DeFi and all this stuff, this is going to be right at the forefront when the crypto market turns around, because they are the ones that are really pushing some interesting possibilities. This is the exact same thing we've seen over the last couple months. The stuff that is sort of fringe becomes more mainstream, and then it blows up. So we want to capture some of that fringe energy and where things are going before it gets to that point, because the year is not even close to being over. We have many more months, many more weeks to go, and many more days, just like this one, where some people see it as, oh no, the market's down. But other people, those who are, not going with the herd, those who are looking for opportunity, this is a sale. This is a great time. So don't get depressed by a 5% move in the crypto market, or else you're not going to have a good time. So before we go look at the charts and kind of what's going on with the markets right now, I do want to just mention how I found these projects, where I do some of this research. I went over this last week, but in case you didn't tune into that stream, I'll just briefly go over this. This is all, in particular, this is my favorite way to find some of these projects. This is Token Sniffer, and it's using Uniswap, which is one of the most popular decentralized exchanges out there right now. And it's really just looking for volume, using that as a metric as to what projects are trending right now, and can we find some commonalities between them. Speaking of commonalities, I also I like using CoinGecko as a way to look for different categories of crypto projects. So if you go to the main website here and you say markets and you go down to categories, it gives you a nice list of, let's say, exchange-based tokens, which, by the way, DeFi was the #1 last week. So kind of tells you, like, these things don't stay static. Things are constantly moving. But it takes a little bit for us to find some of the stuff like NFTs, all the way down here at number 21 in terms of category rank. So it still has a lot of room to grow. But there's other projects, the other kind of categories that are still, like, I would say, surefire winners. Things like yield farming, things like liquidity aggregators, things like automated market makers, and just, some of the emerging ecosystems that we're seeing, like Polkadot and Cardano and Avalanche and Cosmos. All very cool, all doing really interesting things, while Ethereum is having kind of some issues right now. My heart goes out to anyone trying to buy a video card right now for non-mining purposes. But even if you do have a mining card, you could be making a lot off of like the card that's been sitting in your closet for a couple of years now, if you're so interested. The last site that I use to find some of these really interesting projects before they blow up is moonfactor.com. It only tracks projects that are below a $20 million market cap, which in crypto terms is microscopic. And we're looking for good changes in terms of the social profile. We're looking for good volume. We're looking for partnerships, et cetera. So I don't want to dig into this one because it's a little bit more data oriented, but it's just one of my favorite resources that I found recently. I can't speak enough good things about it. So anyways, moving along here, moving back to Doc and I here, we'll get into your questions at the end of this session here. We're just going to keep it nice and short today. But thank you for sitting with me. For those who just showed up, I just went over 7 of my top projects that I'm looking at right now. Just some ideas as to where I think things are going, what could be some good opportunities. If you want to check out the spreadsheet that I use, where I collected all that information, put it out there for free for you. It's down in the bio below. It's got a little pointer finger looking at it. While you're there, might as well join our brand new community, which is ReadySet.vision. It's awesome place. Learn about on-chain analysis, which is this like brand new way of looking at the markets. It kind of combines fundamental and technical analysis. It's complicated, but it's also very powerful. So if that's sort of the edge you're looking for, if you're looking to outsmart the entire Bitcoin crypto markets, that's how you do it. So anyways, let's move into talking about the markets. Where are things going? How are they evolving? Is this a trend we're going to continue to see, or is this just, one of those little fake outs before we see things move higher again? Doc, take it away.
All right, boys and girls, let's check the audio here. Am I stepping all over? Yeah, it seems to be about the same. All right, Mav, I'm going to just go ahead and drag this window right over you here. And I apologize for that. All right, let's go to full screen. Now, I'm going to start with Bitcoin here just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll move on and just a couple of things I want to show you guys, and then we'll get you back to the Q&A section here. This is Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And what I love to do is I love to spot these opportunities where everybody is looking for the same thing to occur. Now, recently, we've had this nice little consolidation after the moonshot to the top here, and everybody's thinking that this is just going to continue and keep going. And in fact, we just continue to get this, and we have a lot of energy up here. So a lot of people are looking for the move to continue. Now, that would be the obvious way to go. But what I want to suggest to you is to be open for if the price actually tumbles down to this area here, because I think this is going to be extreme value. If the price does tumble down to support, which is going to be about 45,000, there's all kinds of support down here. Not only do you have a pivot low, but you also have prior support down here as well as volume profile nodes. So I'm going to be setting up. Now I've got options which are expiring tomorrow. So as soon as they clear tomorrow, I'm going to be lighting up more short puts down in this area for probably the April cycle. Also, I'm going to be setting up limit buys down here, good till cancel, to see if the price pops down here, because I think if it does find its way down here, it's going to build up a lot of negativity down here in this area. And this is necessary to get that toxic combination to get the price to squeeze to the upside. We've had a lot of shorts just like disappear from the market. And unfortunately, it does require two sides of the market to get it to go higher. So that's one thing you can look for. While we're seeing Bitcoin a little bit soft right now, we are starting to see some altcoins starting to assert themselves, such as we have one BTC. This is Harmony. This thing has been taken off as super strong lately. The other way that you can look for these is to go down into your screener and just scan on BTC, and you can start to see things popping up from the bottom. So you can start to see some of these coins that are assuming uptrends. And some of these are going to be low volatility, low volume pieces of crap, right? Like this one. Some of these are going to be higher volume. So make sure that you scan through these and don't just jump on something just because it's breaking out. But that's one way that you can use the crypto screener for this. So regardless, right now what we're going through is a little period of risk off. We're seeing the NASDAQ selling off today. We're seeing the Russell 2000 small cap selling off today. So the larger markets have been very weak, although to me, this is the type of consolidation that's exactly what we need. You want to see this type of consolidation. So even though it's inconvenient for a lot of folks to see it, kind of range bound, bobbing up and down like this, and people sort of get impatient, look for the opportunities that are out there, which in my thought would be a dip back down to about 43 to 44,000. If we get something like that, be ready to grab that with both hands. All right, I'm going to bring it back to the both of us here. Guys, do you have any questions? Anything else that you wanted to post for us? We wanted to keep today's session kind of short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah, someone just raised a really good question about his Energy Web token. It's currently market cap number 122. So definitely is a meaty project. I'll definitely look into it more. But what I do want to say is two things have happened in recent months that I think we should all be very aware of or paying attention to. 2 months ago, there was a report put out that basically conclusively said that cash is no longer king of payments. Digital payments have now overtaken the king. And, crypto is a part of that. This is also, phone based or credit cards, et cetera. So it's a pretty broad, sweeping thing, but definitely an important milestone. So tokenization, tokenized currencies of any kind, I think, especially in the context of something like energy, is going to be very interesting. And that's where the second piece that we should be paying attention to is solar is now the cheapest form of energy out there. So not only does solar kind of just democratize the entire energy market, Texans, my heart goes out to you, but it also helps to move people towards, self-reliance, self-sovereignty, the same sort of ideals that we are pushing for in the crypto space. So definitely want to check out this project here. Not saying it's good or bad or anything like that. There's been a lot of projects out there that have tried to do democratized, decentralized energy ecosystems. So it will be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, cool. What else we got, guys? Ooh, yes, Anchor is another one that lots of good stuff going on there. So yeah, it will definitely pump, but it's kind of the buy the rumor, sell the news event, especially with Coinbase listings. They're not as a hot ticket item as they used to be. So we'll see if it pumps. But yeah, I still think it's a fundamentally sound project. It's doing some really cool things.
A lot of people asking about how they get access to your spreadsheet.
So spreadsheet is in the bio below. It is next to that finger that is pointing. If you want to get first access to these spreadsheets, I post them before we go live over on ReadySet.vision. So if you just sign up and get a free account, you'll get notified both on your email as well as we have an app for that. I know it's crazy. So you'll get notified when we post that. So definitely I would check that out if that's at all interesting to you. And you can go back through the archives and look for other projects we've been talking about because we do these every week. So just giving you some good ideas. By the way, I do want to mention we are not paid by anybody to do any sort of shilling. I don't hold any of these projects. Full transparency. I'm only here to just talk about the things that I think are cool. That fair? Yeah. I'm not here to shill anything. I'm not telling you to buy or sell or do anything. But what I am saying is that here are some interesting trends. Here are some projects that demonstrate those trends. And this is where I think things are going. So welcome to the show.
Hey, Mav, what are some of the other free communities that we have available to everybody out there?
Great question. So first link in the bio below is our Discord. So if you want to check that out, you want to interact with us, that's the best place to find us. Of course, that Discord is kind of like open to everybody in terms of, that's our crypto community. We have some options traders in there. We even have our Omnia premium members at readysetcrypto.com who get some private resources, all of our courses for free. That link is also in the bio below if you want to get part of Omnia, our premium service. But as part of that as well, another free community we have out there is run by Doc, and that is more about stock, options, equity trading. So if you're at all in the stock market, you're looking for those sorts of opportunities, you're looking for how do you trade the market smarter? Doc has got you covered. He's got already, I think, like 15 courses over there built. So lots of really good demonstrated value, especially where things are going right now, giving you a way to not only get really good returns, but mitigate the risk at the same time. That's what options help with. All right, cool. Why don't I hold any of these projects? Great question. So the reason I don't, the reason, I wasn't buying these projects before I came on to talk to you guys or anything like that is first off, I think that's shady. And there are people on YouTube who definitely do that. And I don't agree with that. And I just don't want to associate with those sorts of people at all. I just don't believe in screwing over my audience. Is that fair? I think that's kind of the as long as you guys trust me and I trust you, like that's what I'm looking for. So no one can really buy, or pay me to say a certain thing. I try to just be out here as a neutral operator, no ulterior motive other than just to teach you about really cool stuff, show you kind of where things are going, geek out on crypto for a little bit. So yeah, sometimes, I will check out projects and I will invest in them. But in the most part, I'm trying to just kind of take a more diversified approach right now as it relates to the crypto markets because it's just crazy. But yeah, if you're looking for opportunity, you're in the right place. Ooh, cool. All right. Yeah, LTO is another one. I definitely need to do my homework on that one because I've seen that all over the place. Chain games. I think we mentioned chain games like a week or two ago. I think that's another card-based one. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, just going off the topic, the theme from earlier in the stream, I really think there's a lot of potential with gaming and NFT. Those sorts of projects that are pushing that, the projects that are kind of at the center of that or building out of that, I think are doing really awesome things. So chain games, if they're building their own game, which I think they are, and they have some sort of like card based or some sort of NFT based system around it, awesome. I think that we're going to see a lot more of success and just upside potential with all that kind of stuff.
There's a question from Disco Stew here. I love that name. For a long time, BTC is correlated with S&P 500, which I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I'll talk about that for a second. What about the bearish scenario for crypto when stonks go down? What you have to understand is that still we have crypto is being dwarfed by a very, very enormous equity market that's out there. And if we start to see distribution, if we start to see margin calls, if we start to see redemptions happening in the market, which is what we saw exactly a year ago, we saw an absolute flood of them. What happened to crypto at the same time? Crypto went down. And actually, if you look at the charts, precious metals went down at the same time, right? So everybody talks about precious metals like silver and gold being the ultimate hedge against things like that. No, as a matter of fact, when everybody's getting margin calls, everything gets chucked out the window trying to raise cash so you can pay off your margin call, your margin debt. So when stonks go down, everything goes down temporarily, and understand that. But there will be a point when we're going to see, if that does occur, and I'm sure it's going to happen again sometime fairly soon, we're going to see the same thing happen with Bitcoin, crypto, et cetera. But there's going to be a point where, an inflection point where one is going to overtake the other. And they're going to run opposite to each other. So keep in mind, don't panic on the first dip down, because that's just the market handling what it does as far as business.
So there's been a couple questions, and I think this is where we should close out today. But a couple great questions about, where is the market right now? Are we at the top of the bull? Do we believe that now is a good time to be investing or taking on risk, or should we be, taking off risk? And more importantly than that, what is the Fed doing and all that? So my take on that, and then Doc, I think, should talk a little bit about, what Jerome Powell said today and the Fed's overall schemes. But my take on that is you guys should definitely go research what's known as the Fed put, or the Greenspan put, which is basically this unspoken doctrine by the Fed that stocks can't go down. They will always do whatever they can to prop up the market, even if it's detrimental to the underlying reserve currency, a la printing ad infinitum. If that's the strategy that seems to be moving stocks higher, well, they're just going to keep doubling down on that. So yes, we are going to be in this crazy environment where volatility is the new norm. Cheap capital has corrupted the equity markets in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it's opened up opportunities, especially in more free market landscapes like the crypto market. Not saying that the crypto market is totally 100% non-manipulated, because that it's not. But it is deflationary, it is decentralized, and it is pursuing future alternatives to what is clearly a race to the bottom monetary policy environment, where things I just don't think are going to reverse. So, Doc, what's your take about what Big Daddy Powell said today?
You know, actually, I spend more time watching the market and watching what prices do, and I keep my nose out of the news on purpose. So I actually don't know what he said. But I will say one thing about this, though, is that everybody gives the Fed way too much credit. The Fed's they're way too academic. They're way behind the ball. They have no clue how markets actually operate. Now, everybody says don't fight the Fed. That's true because they do have a big bazooka in there, but they are trailing. They're always going to be trailing. If there was such a thing as the Fed put, what the hell happened last March in 2020, right? 35% down on the S&P, trillions of dollars out the door. If they could do something about that, they would have done something about that. But you can't. When you have market uncertainty, when in doubt, all hands, palms out. This is the old floor trader's way of saying sell, 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 like that. So when in doubt, palms out. People are going to sell and dump what they have if there is any concern about certainty. So don't worry about that, but markets always will recover from something like that. So to some degree, I do agree with like Native American who says that, you know, as long as they're printing money,
which is the screen name, by the way,
right. Which is a screen name. Let's say that there, but that's the thing. That's what's different about this market versus 13 years ago when we had the great financial crisis, is that we had credit markets locked up. That's not the case right now. There's money just sloshing around in the sewers in the streets right now that's available for investment. So that is not the problem. It's just a matter of there's no shortage of money. It's where it goes, and things happen a lot faster now. So we're going to go up faster. We're going to go down faster as well too.
Well said. Right. Well said. Yeah, I think as it relates to this space, the map is not the territory. We have many years of future upside potential and opportunity. And this is what we said over and over for the last 3 years, while, you know, everybody was willing to count crypto out and say, you know, that was just a fad, that will never come back. Bitcoin is dead. The dream is over, etc. Where are those critics today, if not believers or, you know, at least hypocrites? But regardless, what is important is investing and following innovation as the only true metric of where things are going. And yes, expectations get out of control. Clearly, the tech industry is suffering for that right now. But at the same time, I think over the long-term period, they're also going to be the winners. So might lose the battle here and there, but they're going to win the war. And in that regard, we're right at the center of that storm. So I think just keep the faith, but also keep expectations under control, and just make sure that you are looking towards where things are going, especially in this space, because things change overnight. It's hard to follow. I get it, but it's also important that you stay on top of things, because I think over the next couple of years, certainly by the next halving that we go through, this space is going to look very different. The fourth era of blockchain is just so exciting in so many different ways. So as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us, talking about it, nerding out. It's a great time. So even days like today where everything is red, there is still a green opportunity around the corner. So just buckle down. Don't worry. It's going to be okay.
Guys, we'd love to chat with you all night long, but we're between Mav and a beer right now. So we got to roll along. Why don't you meet us out at our Discord or one of our free communities, such as like elite.readyset.trade or at readyset.vision as well too. So meet us at our communities, interact with us on a daily basis. This is what we do. We're building communities. We're trying to help everybody. So you guys take care. Be good, everybody, and be good to each other. We'll see you out there.
Cheers, guys. Take care.